Aslan Golf have recently released this launch pad iron, and it's aimed at the high handicaps because it's pretty damn massive, to be honest. Let's put it through its paces and let's see if it does what it says on the tin. I'm going to split this test into two parts. The first part, I'm going to be hitting this new Wilson LP iron against my own iron. Now, there's quite a bit of difference in the design of these two irons. Quite interesting to see if there's any real performance differences between two very different types of irons. Now, my 6 iron is 2 degrees weaker, so I'm kind of expecting it to maybe go 6 to 7 yards shorter than the Wilson LP. First up, let's go with my current iron. Not quite a blade, but almost. Let's see what sort of performance we get out of this. Now let's go with the Wilson LP to see if there's any significant differences in the performance numbers. Okay, so we've hit some shots with both of these clubs. Let's take a look at the numbers. Let's see how they actually compare. So total distance, there is some discrepancy between the two numbers, 200 yards for the Wilson LP and 193 for the Cobra with carry. So that's not surprising. I was expecting somewhere in and around the sort of 6-7 yard mark because of the 2 degrees difference in loft. All the other numbers are very, very similar. There is a little bit of a difference with the spin rate. There's 600 RPM more spin with the Wilson LP, so it's spinning a little bit more, and the descent angle is just a little bit more severe as well. So I'm getting a little bit more control on the other end. So maybe it's time I started to get into a bit more of a game improvement club. Height-wise, 108 feet here for the Wilson LP, 99 feet for mine. And again, that's probably explained by the extra spin rate. There was no real change in the launch angles, a little bit of a difference with the descent angle, difference in peak height, and I put that down to the extra spin rate. So all in all, performance-wise, yes, very, very similar. There's just a little bit of extra yardage out of the Wilson LP, and there's a little bit more control on the other end, which might be attractive to some. Now let's get into part 2 of the test. I'm just going to take this into a real course situation, just to see what I think about the looks of the club, the feel of the club, etc. Let's see how this Wilson LP performs in a gaming scenario. I'm out here at Wentworth 18th hole, put myself out there at 200 yards because that's what I was getting for the carry number. We've got to carry some water, quite a difficult shot this one. Let's see how this iron performs and what it's actually like to hit. It's pretty straight, but it wasn't a great strike. I'm expecting this to be in the water. Oh. Yeah, that was just fractionally from the heel, and you could tell it just dropped off a little bit of distance. Wasn't too bad though. You may or may not pick it up on the other side of the lens, but it doesn't sound like you're hitting an iron. It really does sound more like a hybrid. This isn't too bad, a little bit out to the right in the trap. It's probably quite a common place to put the ball on this hole, to be honest, scared of the water. Yeah, it does sound a little bit like a hybrid. It doesn't really sound like you're hitting an iron. And to be perfectly honest, for me, the appearance as well is pretty grim. I don't really like the look of this club at all, if I'm honest. But it's not going to put everybody off. So, you know, this is just my opinion. I was brought up with blades when I first started and really stuck with that type of club ever since. So I guess it's just because it looks different. I dare say over time I'd probably never get used to the way that it looked. This is a better effort, it's just fading a fraction. That's not too bad. That's what happens in a gaming situation. You saw in the flight scope there that I was hitting this with a fair bit of draw because it does sit a little bit closed and there's a little bit of offset as well. So I'm moving the ball from right to left. I get myself in a real world situation where there's actually trouble on the left hand side with the water, and I find myself trying to fight the club to try and stop the ball from going too far left. Ultimately then I start to hit these little sort of pushes and push fades. And that tends to be a trait of a better player, able to kind of override the features of a club, what the club is trying to get the ball to do. So if you're not a better player, if you categorise yourself as maybe, you know, sort of mid to higher handicapper or skilled player, something like this is going to help you stop the ball from moving too far from left to right. There's no doubt about that. I wouldn't say it was going to make an extreme slice turn into a straight shot. It'll probably just limit it just a little bit for you. Let's have another go at this shot. Feel wise is like the sound. It does feel quite harsh when you hit the ball. Again, it feels like a hybrid or a fairway would. I kind of overrode the want of the ball to turn over a little bit, pushed it. It's my favourite bunker again, is it? Yeah. Let's have one last go. I'm going to try not to override what the club wants the ball to do with this one. So I'm going to start it a fraction to the right and then let the club do what it wants. Yeah, this is a much better shot. Yeah, really happy with that. I should have been doing that from the start. So to conclude, I'm impressed with this and not impressed with it. I don't like the way it looks, I don't like the way it sounds, and I don't like the way it feels. But all those things are personal preferences, so I'd make your own mind up, go down to the pro shop, maybe give this a try. I do like the way that it performs though. The performance is pretty good. In particular, I like the fact that the ball wants to maybe move a little bit more right to left than some of the irons that I've hit. So if you're somebody that struggles with hitting the ball from left to right, this is certainly something to check out. Again, this club isn't going to win any beauty contests, but if you're somebody who's just interested in the way the club performs, which arguably that's the only thing that really matters, then again, definitely worth trying. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please give it a thumbs up. Not subscribed to the channel yet, please make sure you do so. More gear reviews coming soon.